If we as a nation want to maintain the freedom and the independence that we have got to be able to stand up against the opposition. To be able to do that effectively, we need to be united. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the JS Show. I am so excited to have you guys here. Thank you for being here. All I ask of you is if you find any value from the content that you are given today, I ask that you subscribe, hit the like button, and make sure to share this with as many people as possible. Also, while you're down there, just go check out my social medias. I just joined Threads, the new Instagram, Twitter thing. I don't know. But yeah, go check out my social media. Give me a follow. But if you have not noticed, the opposition is constantly trying to find ways to divide us as a nation, as well as within our communities. That is why today I will give you the solutions that I think we need as a nation to become united against the enemy. The very first thing that we have to do is we have to cut them off at their source. And by their source, I mean how they source out all of their stuff against us, all of their attacks on our beliefs and everything going in our lives. And that source is big media. All the big media stations, Fox, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, all the letters of the alphabet. And then from beyond that, all the social media platforms. They blatantly came out and said that all the three-letter agencies were involved in censoring stuff on all the big medias. So the best thing that you can do to start to become a more united nation is we cut them off. We turn off the TV. We turn off the news channels. We limit what we have on social media. Whether you know it or not, I'm sure you know it. Subconsciously, on social media, you can tailor what information you get by the people you follow, the stuff that you like, and the stuff that you give your attention to. It's just like on anything. If you like something, it's going to suggest more of that stuff to you. That's what an algorithm does. If you spend your time watching a ton of stuff, if you spend your time watching a ton of race riots, gender equality stuff, or just anything that has a battle going on, and I'm not saying you're in the wrong doing it, because it is to a point entertaining and it grabs your attention. Like, what the crap is going on here? But that's exactly what they want. They want you to be so engaged into it. You let it become permanent on your mind, and then that's what you put out. And then before long, media hits one person. They start to tell 5 people. Those 5 people tell 5 more people. And before you know it, their story has spread just how they wanted it to. We have got to eliminate mainstream media as much as we possibly can in our daily lives, because their influence on us is so great. Because anything that catches your attention is going to timestamp on your brain and permanently stamp it on your brain, and it's just intoxicating. What you have to do after you eliminate that stuff, that media, that bad, toxic stuff that they're trying to shove down your throat, you have to fill the void with a united message. Something that's crazy, as I started to really dive more into the entrepreneurial space and into the podcast space, content creation stuff, a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff, they have a united thought process and not united thinking. There's differences here and there, but overall the message is the same, and they are trying to wake people up. We hear all about wokeness, but the wokeness that you hear about is not the actual wokeness you need to hear about. You need to wake up to what is going on right in front of you. They are shoving a green screen over what is actually going on, and they are putting propaganda out to completely poison your mind. So go and find these entrepreneurs, these thought leaders, these mastermind leaders that have the united message on their platform. And not just those types of messages either. Fill your social media and any type of media platform that you use, fill it with stuff to help you actually move forward in life, to improve upon where you are. Because all the news channels do, all the stuff that gets shoved at you, all that is meant to do is to break you down and make you think that we are a weak country, that we are weak people. No, you are not weak. We are not weak. But they want you to think that, so you are easier to control and to overcome. So the first thing we need to do as a people is we need to unite by eliminating them at the source, which is mainstream media. The second thing we need to do to become united is we need to love people. And no, I'm not going all hippie on you. No, it's not necessarily love people. It's more of an acronym. We don't need to love people because of what they do or what they look like. We need to love them just because they are human. It's pretty simple. We are all human. At the roots, at our DNA, we are all the same. It's so crazy to think. I mean, in layman's terms, world peace is very easy to reach because we are all human. And if we would love each other how we're supposed to, because we are humans, and take care of one another, boom, world peace taken care of. But another thing that comes with being a human is we have our own thoughts. So some people become greedy. Some people just never stop wanting something, or there's just so many other variables that go into place. But to be able to become united, we need to be able to set differences aside and just love people because they are people. So that was L. And then we have O, which is we need to open our eyes. We need to open our eyes to see the true person underneath the surface. We've got to stop judging people by their cover. We hear that all the time growing up, that we don't judge a book by their cover, but so often we judge people by our first initial reaction of them. That's why people say first impressions are everything. So why are we judging people by the cover, even though we tell kids not to judge books by the cover? I mean, which one is it? I think the latter is true. You don't judge whatever it is by the cover that you see, because you never know what might be going on in their life, what they've dealt with, or what might be going on right there as you see them. So we have got to be able to love people no matter what is on the surface, but then we have got to open our eyes to see what is underneath the surface. And then we have the letter V for validate. We have to validate what we are told about a person before we can make our own judgment on them. Too many times, gossip gets spread around, rumors get spread by people about other people, and it gives people these negative images of this person before they even meet them. So before you decide to have a mental picture and a judgment of what these people are and who they are as a person, go and validate what you have heard first, because oftentimes the person that you are hearing it from is actually wrong. And once you go to validate it, you find out that the person is the complete opposite of what you were being told. Then we've got the letter E. We have to embrace our differences. That our differences are what make us so unique and so special as organisms and creatures on this earth. No one person is the same. Even identical twins who have the same exact DNA can have different traits that make them unique. And that is what's so cool. And what makes it so great to be able to unite is because all these people are so good at different things, they have different traits that make them good at what they do, that you have an unstoppable team if people would just come together and love each other. So to recap that, you have to love people, open your eyes to see what's under the surface, validate what you hear before you make a judgment, and embrace the differences of people. Love people. Then the third and final thing that I think would solve our issues and help us unite as a country is we have to make our communities great again. By no means am I a Donald Trump fan. His campaign slogan was pretty good, make America great again, but we have to make communities great again. throughout the pandemic, and all of that was an attack on dividing our communities. The race riots, the pandemic, all the gender equality stuff, the sexual orientation stuff, all of that stuff is meant to divide us, and it has worked so well. And I have to give them props for it. It's worked to a T. I have never seen so much division within communities. I remember even me growing up as a kid. I'm only 23 years old, so I haven't been here long. I wasn't here when you go and borrow sugar from your neighbor. But actually, yeah, I think I remember my mom borrowing sugar from our neighbor one time, and that was like when I was 10, so that was a decade ago, a little over a decade. But they have done such a good job at dividing our communities that it would make it very easy to control and to conquer us now, because we are so divided as a nation. But to do that, we have to get back to the basics. Get to know your neighbors. Check on your neighbors. I mean, it wasn't too long ago. We have some good neighbors around here. But it wasn't too long ago that our neighbor next door, she's an older woman, she came over and just to tell me that there was a black snake on her porch, and she'd shoot it off, but it came over to our yard. So she came over, and she drove over because it's not like a short walk. But she came over just to tell me that the snake might be in our yard. And I made sure to tell her that if she needed anything, that we were there for her. And that's exactly what we have to get back to. We have to get back to having that neighbor-to-neighbor relationship where we care for one another, we check on one another, and we just enjoy being neighbors. Now, I'm no Mr. Rogers, but being a good neighbor is probably one of the best things you can do to build community. And then something else you have to do to be able to build your community and make a great community is you have to just be kind. Be kind to one another. So many times going in and out of stores, in and out of gas stations, people are so rude to each other. Not holding the door open for people, not saying thank you, getting mad, cutting in line. Every little thing sets people apart. And I think part of the pandemic made us so selfish that we forgot how to be kind and have common courtesy to one another. And then the last thing that we need to do to build a community is we have to spend time together as a community. It started around here. It's gotten a lot better since the pandemic. A lot of communities around here do community events, which is great. Oklahoma is very conservative, and that's kind of what our foundation is built on. But we have got to get back to more and more of that as a nation, because building that bond with one another is what makes us strong. And we have got to get back to that if we want to be able to unite. So the opposition has completely broken apart our communities and our nation. Their main goal is to divide and conquer. If we want to be able to keep our freedom, make this nation glorious once again, it starts with you and me. You have to personally make the decision to unite, to look past our differences and embrace your neighbors. We have got to love one another and build our communities back. No one person is going to come in and save the day. It is going to take each and every one of us. The time is now. We must unite. We have got to unite. We are so divided, and I'm so tired of it. I miss it. I miss how we were united at one point. I know this has been a long time coming, but even, I don't know. It's so sad to see where we have come to, but we can't let it get us down. That is why we have to unite. So that is all I have for you guys. Make sure you take this information, put it into action, or else it is meaningless and you just wasted your time. And I wasted my time for you. But I want you to take this and take action. Unite your community. Unite with those around you. We've got to if we want to be able to save this country. Because it is on its way under. And it's not going to be good. Let's do this. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. But Thank you guys for being here today. I hope you enjoyed another episode of the JS Show where we really dive into hard-hitting topics about self-improvement, self-development, and just what we can do to improve as a nation, as a person, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. But I thank you guys for being here again, and I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.